Minecraft is one of the most popular games on the planet. It's simplistic, which makes it approachable, but simultaneously requires a lot of consideration from the player in order to survive. But think about all the things you have to take into account in survival, and imagine doing those with the blindness effect but in real life. Hi, I'm Logic, I'm a blind gamer, and this is how I survived a week in Minecraft. Before we start the first day, I'd like to preface this by saying that I'm using a suite of mods called Accessibility Plus. I will be including all of the information for these mods down in the description below and also be explaining how they help me during the run. I spawn in a field and immediately start by getting my bearings. This is extremely important because using cardinal directions and landmarks are going to be the only ways that I'm going to keep from getting lost in the world here. To the north we have a body of water, and it also wraps around the plains biome down the hill there to the east. Walking through the biome, I hear lots of animal spawns, and that's going to be extremely helpful for supplies and food early on. A helpful feature of Accessibility Plus is block narration. And combining this with my extremely limited vision and extremely limited depth perception, I was able to locate a tree that spawned right here all by its lonesome. As I finish punching the logs I can reach, I start to hear sheep spawning around me. Those are the mobs that I need, so I start using a combination of features from the Accessibility Plus pack called Point of Interest and Mob Locking. It helps me engage and locate the sheep accurately, though I'm told when I lock onto a mob and move around, it does really funny things to the display. While noticing a hunk of wood sticking off of the coast, which my Discord helpfully informed me was a shipwreck, I forgot to pick up the item from the sheep that I had just finished engaging, but after walking in interlocking patterns and using the point of interest system to locate the item, I was able to retrieve it. I ended up accidentally hitting a baby sheep though, but luckily it grew up right in front of us and it was able to get me what we were after. Now that we have the materials we need, I stopped to craft some items, and I started by making our first crafting table. I want to take a second to talk about blindness. Blindness runs on a spectrum, and nearly everyone on the lower end of the spectrum is unable to use the mouse to operate their computer systems. So one of the main things that Accessibility Plus and its accompanying mods allow us to do is to transfer a lot of those mouse movements and interface access down to the keyboard. And that's really helpful with not only navigating the interface, but moving through the world and crafting items, which you're about to see right here. After using the keyboard controls I just mentioned to craft a white bed, I went on to make some basic tools. I then dug a hole into the side of the hill facing the ocean. Building structures is still pretty challenging for blind players, and that's still a problem that we're trying to work out. But it's a lot easier to just go ahead and dig a hole into the side of a hill or into the ground or whatever and kind of build the structure in a way that is rememberable by you. You place everything where you can remember where it is and stuff like that. So that's what I've done here. I then moved my bed into the space that I've just dug and set my crafting table down to complete day 1. Day 2. Day 2 started with an upgrade from wooden tools to stone tools after I forgot the recipes, that is. Then I remembered that unless I did something soon, I'd probably starve to death or end myself via fall damage after constantly breaking my legs, since that's usually what happens to me. So I ran around the field holding left click with my sword to hopefully get some seeds. Then I took the seeds from that little venture, plus the dirt that I got from digging out my little shack in the ground, and did a zigzag bridging pattern off the coast to build a little wheat farm. After realizing that I didn't have what I needed to finish the farm, I finally decided to go up and take care of that floating tree that I left in the field, and then I ran back to my house to craft a hoe. Locating the logs in the mess of leaves took a long time because I had to destroy enough of the leaves to expose the blocks for Accessibility Plus to register. Heading back to the coast, I found my first exposed cave thanks to the fall detector, which is another feature of the Accessibility suite of mods. You know guys, we really love the fall detector. Me and a lot of my friends die from fall damage a lot, whether it be exposed caves, ravines, or uneven terrain, or even destroyed terrain in the nether, which is actually how my first run on my 100 days in hardcore video ended, so stay tuned for that. And after fully planting our seeds, we conclude day 2. At the start of day 3, we placed a door in order to secure our shelter. Then we went back out into the field briefly to kill some pigs and acquire some pork. And finally, we went up and replanted the first tree we found, cause renewable, right? Realizing my sapling wouldn't grow fast enough though, we went ahead and ventured west across the field to try and find some more trees, which we did. I was horribly low on wood, and I needed to make some more fuel for my furnace as well as more charcoal for torches in the mine. I also lost track of my health and hunger, so I hunted some animals on the way home. We have a feature to announce health and hunger. I was just clueless and didn't check it. After placing some chicken in the furnace, we started the process of digging a staircase down from the shelter to diamond level. Of course, I made the mistake a couple of times of digging straight down, and it ended up being a mistake to choose the western wall as we ran into a cave that the fall detector thankfully let me know of. Switching my tunneling from south to east though and blocking off the wall, we were able to get down quite a ways before my tools broke and I had to go up to make more. Notice how carefully I'm digging down because I have to wait for TTS to announce the fall detector or I'm going to step off into empty space and that'll be a terrible outcome for the run. After a few more minutes of digging, I returned to the surface, and listening carefully to the ambience mod that we have running, we hear crickets and nighttime sounds, so it's time to hit some shut-eye at the end of day 3. We split our charcoal to make torches and fuel the furniture. I know my decision to continue to use torches seems a little redundant, but I still have to accommodate for the vanilla mechanics of the game, like mob spawns and stuff like that. Referring to the Meet a MineCraftor video, I can't tell you guys how many people told me I was fakey because I decided to use torches. As we approached diamond level, I found some copper. Copper doesn't really serve any early game purpose to us, so I left the majority of it behind in order to save tool durability, and we continued digging downward. I use a technique called branch mining. For those who aren't in the know, branch mining is when you make one main tunnel and then you branch smaller tunnels off of the sides in order to uncover the most amount of blocks using the least amount of tool durability. Thankfully, while doing this, most of the hazards that you can encounter can either be controlled by the player via adjusting light levels, or you can hear when you're about to break into a cave by listening to bats and things through walls. After a while of mining and finding a whole bunch of ores that we couldn't mine like redstone, my ore detector finally pinged me to some iron that I had uncovered. It wasn't enough for me though, so we continued mining until we ran out of tools and torches and had to go to the surface to make more. I'm glad I did though, because I ended up finding a decent vein of iron, and that concludes the end of this day. 5 days into the run, I finally make our first chest because item management, right? And I proceed to place items as orderly as I can in the chest. Organizing items in not only chests and containers but on your inventory as well requires a lot less searching and wasting time listening to TTS in order to find things. We followed that by making a shield with some of the iron that we got in the mine, as well as an iron chest plate to help us with some combat situations later. The addition of the armor had me feeling brave though, so I went out to the shipwreck in order to try and loot it. Little did I know though, that not only did the shipwreck not contain any loot, but I also got stuck in a 1x1 hole that's 3 blocks deep and has water in the bottom, and as you can imagine, without a whole lot of items, that's extremely difficult to get out of. We stopped by the wheat farm though after that fail and harvested some wheat to make some bread. Then we went out around the fields and planted some torches to expand the circle of darkness that develops around the base at night. I was feeling a tad defenseless, so I pretty much spent the entire day down in the mine looking for diamonds. I found some more iron, but of course that's not quite what I was looking for. By day 7 though, we ended up getting lucky and finding a vein of 5 diamonds. I went back up to the surface and used 2 on a sword for damage dealing. I used 2 on a diamond hoe because that's just what you do, and I decided to consult the community on what I should use my last diamond on. We still had quite a bit of time left in day 7 though by the time we resurfaced, so as we do on the channel, we used our last few minutes to go on a silly mission. We decided to use the last diamond to make a jukebox, so I went back west across the field to gather some more wood, and we placed the jukebox in a place that I don't really remember without straining really hard on the footage. Nighttime was coming though, and I didn't plan on sleeping, so I used the remaining minutes of the day to craft the rest of my armor pieces, and before I knew it, nighttime had come. This is how it went. Got him. Oh, mistake. Oh no. Yes. Whoa. Uh-oh. Think I got a little in over my head, guys. This might be it. Yep. That's it. But hey, you know, we fought a good fight, guys. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed that last bit of footage there. I ended up not keeping track of my hunger and health and got overwhelmed by the number of mobs that surrounded me. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. That was just a glimpse into what it takes as a blind gamer to play this game, and I tried to make a few points in this video. First is that a lot of our techniques overlap. The same techniques that you guys use to survive, we use to survive. We just need a little bit of augmentation of the way that the game presents things in order for us to access the contextual information that we need and things like that. And second, this Blindcraft experiment has been going very well, and it shows me that blind and sighted players can exist in the same spaces. Unlike when I first started playing Minecraft, I thought we had to be separate, but things have come so far where I really do think that you guys are going to start running into us in the wild one day. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe if you want more, and I'll see you guys on stream.